Always dancing. Whoa, sketchy. Is that IG?
Yeah.
Oh, Instagram.
You'll bear with me.
We are live on Facebook. Hello.
Oh, man.
What a scary start. Sketchy.
It was really sketchy. What is up, party people?
Hello.
Hey, happy Friday.
It's Friday?
I think so.
It's the day that ends in Y, and my kids are out of school. I don't know what's happening.
Oh, man. My kid's been sleeping until like 11:45, 12 o'clock. Just letting it happen.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I know. I am just secretly just a little bit envious.
Oh, a little?
Yeah.
I'm well jealous.
Yeah, a little envious of that. So what is up, guys? I am Casey, one of your hosts. This is Kendra.
Hello.
Hello.
Coach Kendra. What's up?
We coach here.
Sometimes.
Sometimes we do. Sometimes we talk about pregnancy and training, which is exactly what we're going to do today.
Woot woot.
So, obviously, we're both moms.
Is it obvious? I mean, it's obvious for me. I don't know if it's obvious for you. You're pretty cool.
Oh, thanks. You're cool, too. Whatever. So, hi, what's up? Run the streets fitness. Hi, Casey and Kendra. What's up?
Hey.
So we're both moms. If you don't know us, we're both. We have had some babies. So it's been a while for me, actually. I had Shane when I was 22.
Oh, babies having babies.
Babies having babies.
Yeah.
I was a baby that had a baby. So.
I was 30 when I had my first child, so
Yeah, so we had very probably different experiences.
I would say, for sure.
Through pregnancy. I was the worst pregnant lady ever. I also did not work out while I was pregnant. So I have, however, trained and seen tons of women go through training, either, where they had been training before and then they got pregnant and continued their training. So we're going to talk about some different scenarios. Also, one really cool thing that happened was this one woman got pregnant and she was a little overweight, and she was like, I need to come in here. When she found out she got pregnant, she joined the gym and started working out like a beast, man. She was an animal. She was in here like 5 days a week. She got in like legit, really good shape. She wanted to have natural childbirth, and she was like, I need to be in good shape.
It's true, though. You really do.
She was like preparing to have the baby.
That's amazing.
It was really cool. She totally did
That's
it.
Good motivation. I like that.
She totally did it.
When I was pregnant, I was really into running at the time, so I had done a couple half marathons, and I had done a couple half marathons beforehand, but then I got pregnant, and I was like, well, surely I'm just going to keep running. And I don't know that I did. I didn't go to a lot of doctor's visits. We were all over the world at that point. So, I think I could have gotten some better advice. I still have some lingering issues, pelvic pain and stuff. So we'll talk about that at the end when we talk about post-pregnancy.
Yeah. So obviously, talk to your doctor. Let me just preface this show with, we're not telling you what to do. We're just offering, let me be politically correct here. Everybody's got different things going on. So obviously, before you just jump in and say, oh, this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Ask your doctor if it's okay, or whoever your midwife, whatever your belief system is, talk to that person. Okay. In our experience, typically I would say some lower intensity working out, walking.
Oh, while you're pregnant.
Yes, once you have become pregnant, some strength training, low impact exercise. Obviously, once you get into your second trimester, you don't want to be like doing burpees and rolling around on your stomach.
Yep.
But it is okay to work out. Like it. Coolest story of that lady coming in here because she got pregnant. So, swimming
Yep, swimming's
Biking.
good. I mean, anything that's going to give you relief from some of the other symptoms of pregnancy are really good. For me, I did prenatal yoga, which I felt was really great for kind of a mind-body connection, in addition to kind of a connection to my baby that was growing inside of me.
That's cute.
They're really cute classes if you
love
get
that.
the opportunity. They also have post baby yoga where you can bring your baby and like they roll around on the ground. It's really nice.
Oh, that's cute.
So anything that can kind of reconnect you to your body, whether that be lifting something heavy and doing some back squats, or if that's yoga, because it's going to be different for each person.
Maybe it's both.
It could be. Oh, absolutely. Please do. Do
Yeah.
them both. If your doctor gives you clearance to work out, then absolutely. And managing your heart rate would be another thing that I would
Yes.
say, is that keeping your heart rate below a certain dangerous level that can lead to overheating is really important. So if you are doing classes like the things that we offer, it would be a matter of just making it so that it's not as intense as maybe you once have done. And your body is pretty good about telling you when you've gone too far, right? You know, if you start to feel anything that doesn't feel comfortable, stop immediately and have a seat, get some water, and then you can proceed after you're sure that you're feeling okay.
It's really interesting because I think for the more competitive
Yes.
female, this is a really challenging part because you have been competing, whether it be against yourself or against other people, for however many years, and you're this like mindset of heavy and hard, intense, like, oh well, I'm not doing what I normally do. Like you have to just understand you're growing a human, and you just sacrifice that ego and that competitiveness for the greater cause. You know, like once you can wrap your mind around that, I think that your training just kind of adjusts how you need it to adjust, because man, like you're growing a human.
Yeah.
You are growing a person.
Well, that goes for nutrition as well.
Sure.
It's like, obviously, go to a dietitian if you feel as though you want more specific advice as far as vitamins and minerals and things like that. But listening to your body, I actually didn't realize. I had some interesting cravings. And now that I've learned a lot more about nutrition, I've actually found out that it was super beneficial what my cravings were. So I craved some pretty high-fat foods, avocados, milkshakes, and I actually craved like salty sardines, which huge source of omega-3s, as it turns out, during brain development. So
Interesting.
pay attention to your body. It's got some pretty good knowledge in there, and sometimes your cravings aren't just like a crazy hormonal thing. It can actually be your body needing something for the baby.
Yeah. I craved 5-layer burritos from Taco Bell.
Well, you were growing a big boy. So
He was big. Big.
we should definitely talk about abdominal stuff, because that's what
Yes.
everybody wants to know, because this is where the magic happens, right?
Yeah. So, you know, obviously this is a case by case because lots of women get that, you know, abs.
Diastasis recti.
Yeah, you can kind of see like this like lump that comes up through the middle of your abs because they're separated. So obviously we're trying to minimize that, but it's kind of weird when you're pregnant. Like guys probably don't think about this, but you like lose your core.
Oh yeah, you're
like you
so
got nothing.
The top layer of your abs, your rectus abdominis, they actually, the third trimester for every woman, I would say at least most every woman, right?
I don't know if it's every woman.
I think if you're taller, you probably have less of that happening because you have
Your
more
midline,
room
yeah.
for the baby to fit. But the 6-pack muscles, they completely separate in the third trimester. So, so great. And for a lot of women, it does go back, right, to where it was. Maybe it might be a finger width between, which is completely normal.
Yeah.
But for some of us, for me being an example, you know, I had an 8 centimeter diastasis. So 8 centimeters, it's at least 3 fingers between one side of my abs and the other, which is really, really difficult for core stability.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you're
I'm a little.
a more petite lady. So, well, let's talk about like planking, static holding. Can I do core movements while pregnant? Yes, you can for most people. Again, if you're having that separation, then there's some really boring rehab things that you can do, like
pelvic tilt.
There's some, I don't even know I don't
toe
even
taps.
know. Yeah,
I know all of them. So if anybody has a diastasis or thinks that they may need these movements, give me a shout. I can shoot you a text or an email. I'll help you. Okay?
Yeah. So, holding static movement is a safer way rather than doing anything that's obviously like sit-ups or toes to bar or things where you're like crunching. Yes. But that, and really even for guys, static core movements are the bomb. You're training those abdominals to just cinch up. It's like course, like you've got a corset on.
Yeah. So there's a very large muscle called the transverse abdominis that works as like a girdle, and it goes all the way around your and it's what's underneath those 6-pack that everybody wants, right? Your 6-pack is really, really pretty, but it's not as functional as the large girdle muscle that you have. So if you really make sure that you're working on that, it can help a lot.
Girl, I've been working on that girdle.
And we're not talking about waist trainers, people.
No. So obviously, if you have been working out at a high intensity or had that, competitive background, really just remembering to be mindful. Being mindful of how you're feeling is so important. And I think that when you get pregnant, you're kind of more mindful anyways, because you're you're pregnant. So
and then there's all the foods you can't eat, and you have to take prenatal
don't jump
vitamins
on a trampoline, don't get on a roller coaster, you can't do this,
I went to Disneyland and Universal Studios pregnant. Let me just tell you, there's nothing that you can ride.
Yeah.
It's a very boring experience.
So if you get done with a workout, you feel completely drained, you're like, oh my gosh, I gotta take a nap, like, you might need to turn down the intensity. Those are some things that you're like, well, I used to be able to do this, but now there's two people in one. So just remember, like, if you're feeling fatigued, if you're feeling drained, if you're feeling lightheaded or dizzy, maybe modify some of those things that you're doing. Drop down that intensity. And I think that for me, I was like sick the whole first trimester. Like, yeah. It was all day. I was like, why do they call it morning sickness? Because I am literally sick all day. Mm-hmm. How did that, some man had to have named that.
Was it before or after he invented underwire?
And high heels.
Oh.
I really do think it was a man that invented high heels.
That's possible.
Yeah. So talked about, abdominals. Let's talk about some
post-pregnancy.
Post-pregnancy.
Mm-hmm. We know some people going through that or have gone recently.
Mm-hmm. Shout out.
You need to get clearance before you can work out again, right? Like for a full workout. And that'll be at about 6 weeks. So
usually,
the 6 weeks.
You can do walking, I think.
Yeah, you can do walking. You can do potentially some pelvic tilts.
Yep.
Definitely working on some sort of internal Kegel movements. Honestly, YouTube is full of all kinds of like post-baby pelvic strengthening exercises that you can do. And honestly, even if you haven't had a baby recently and you want to work on these pelvic muscles, this is not just for women. Let me say that men's interior pelvic muscles need strengthened as well, and the baby is just a trauma event that happens to the pelvis of a woman, but men have just as much need for these exercises as women do.
That is probably That's really interesting because I think about like as guys age and they get older and then they start having problems like going to the bathroom.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, there is
constipation is a symptom of some pelvic floor dysfunction. And this is something that I learned about way after I had kids, right? It was only recently that I went to a pelvic floor specialist myself to deal with some lower back pain that I had. They found out that during birth, my actual pelvic bone had shifted in some places because your pelvis does separate during birth. And it doesn't just separate in the front at the, I can't remember the name of the joint, but at the front, it's not just at the front, it's also at the back. You also have two little sections that your pelvis can kind of open so that the baby's head can descend into the birth canal. So when that happens, sometimes when we heal, we have that 6-week period after having a baby, we need to maybe do some rehab stuff after that because of the trauma of birth.
Yeah.
And you can still heal trauma if you had your child 20 years ago, 30 years ago. It doesn't matter. If you're experiencing any sort of symptoms, we have, any sort of lower back pain or pain in the pelvis in the front. You could have leaking. That's the thing that happens.
Yep.
Lovely. Pain during fun times, that you don't want to experience pain, that sort of pain, that's not normal. And you can absolutely see a physical therapist that specializes in these exercises and things that will help your life be more comfortable. And don't forget constipation, right?
Yeah.
And let me just tell you, constipation, I've only had it a few times in my life, and I thought I was dying.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah.
I don't know how people deal with that on the regular.
Definitely not. Like, pooping is one of the things that makes life worth living. I'm not kidding.
We're fans.
Yep. Love the Pope. But yeah, no, go to your doctor. Go to your doctor. If you are feeling anything kind of not really right, your doctor can give you that referral to go see a specialist. And they know what they're doing. It's amazing the amount of progress that you can make with some little tiny adjustments to your life.
Yeah, girl. Let's talk about disassociation.
Oh, dissociation. So after having a baby, this whole area, you've spent time nurturing your belly, talking to your belly, loving your belly. The baby comes out. You look at yourself in the mirror a day or two after giving birth and you still look pregnant.
You're like, what
And
happened?
all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, the baby's out. What's going on? And it's traumatic for a lot of women who have had this version of themselves prior to having kids. And even if you're not super fit or whatever looking, you will look different after having a baby in different ways, in ways maybe you didn't anticipate, in ways maybe you did anticipate. And there is this dissociation from your stomach. Your stomach has been, your abdominals have been stretched. They maybe aren't back together yet, or they maybe don't go back together. And because you haven't been able to engage your core for such a long period of time properly, you have to reconnect your mind to your muscles. It's a really, really intricate process of just being with yourself, holding in your belly, doing all sorts of these movements that I spoke about before to reconnect. Because until you can reconnect, you will not use your core properly, and you could potentially injure places like your lower back that have been supporting you this whole time. And you'll probably end up with a posterior tilt like a lot of us do, right? Because of these things.
Yeah.
So working on that's really, really important.
Yeah. And also like in those, some meditation or there's a lot of, there is so much mindfulness exercises, and we've talked about meditation a lot in the past. Y'all know I'm a fan, but it is a lot of, it's hard. It's hard to like wake up one day and you're like, what happened to my body? Like I was so different, a year ago. Like what is this?
I feel like that happens not just during, like, lot of like big changes, like
Yeah.
if you move and you know, your eating habits change or your exercise habits change or
Yeah.
menopause, like
Sure.
big changes where you're just like, I don't feel like me anymore.
Yeah.
And it's a process of reconnecting to yourself and whatever new form your body takes, and still trying to love yourself even though you might not look the way you used to.
Yeah. Love yourself for who you are, people. We love you.
I'm too old to be making that.
I don't think so. I don't think so. You got anything else?
I don't think so. You know, just one more reminder is that if you have any mental health changes before, during, after pregnancy,
Yeah, girl.
or if you are struggling to get pregnant and it's something that is an issue for you, please
Yeah.
seek help. Not just for your physical body, but for your mental health as well. I suffered with a lot of really bad postpartum depression.
I did
and
too. I didn't even know.
me neither.
that
And
it
I
was
didn't
happening.
seek help, and I struggled through it, and it was a pretty bad year, not
Yeah.
gonna lie. And I don't think I enjoyed the newborn year, my first go round, because of it. So please talk to your doctor if your baby blues last for longer than a few days after your milk comes in, or even 6 months later, because postpartum depression can occur
Later on.
way later
Yeah.
after the baby's already up and moving around.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind and ask for help when you need it.
And we totally love you guys. Y'all too. Well, thanks for being with us today, guys. We hope you have such an awesome weekend. We are closed at the gym on Monday. If you want to work out in the parking lot, you can. Be our
Call
guest.
me, I'll come.
Take a picture for social media if you do so. We will blast it. But y'all have a great long weekend, and we will see you back next week. Peace.